twat.
Yeah, twat, and then I see username and DJ. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 10 More Away from a Sexual Position, episode 59. My name is Dan. Possibly the worst intro ever made. Ever. Is that a new low? Yeah?
I think so, yeah, because now I'm just assuming you're going to do a countdown. Next week will be 9 more episodes from a number that's a sexual position.
Are we doing a 69 special?
Oh, you guys can do one.
We can do. What do you want to do?
I don't know
Sexy
what
movies.
content that includes. Sexy movies.
Let's do sexy movies.
Yes.
Are we going to have to write our own erotica?
No.
I was going to say yes, but then I decided for...
What about best film fanfic?
We'll decide. We'll come up with something.
I just
Whatever
feel like
Andy wants.
I listened to the last podcast on the left and I got tricked into listening to Bigfoot erotica at 8 o'clock in the morning once, listening to that podcast. I don't really want to do that to people.
Fair enough. We do other things to people. Dirty, terrible things to other people. Welcome to Unusual Suspects Podcast. Can you believe, just thinking about it now for just one moment, I know we do these intros and kind of leave it for a bit and stuff. We've done 59 episodes, and I can't believe we've actually done 50 fucking 9 episodes. I didn't even think we'd get to fucking 20, and now we've done more than double that.
And now we've met in person.
We've done nearly triple it. It's just basic maths, Dan.
Yeah, all right, fuck off. And we still love each other very much, obviously. So,
guys, I got to meet Dan in person in real life.
Yeah, let's talk about what happened this week, because, we all sat in a room for the first time. Some people... who I've heard, especially from these two, think that we sit in the same room.
A lot of my friends think we sit in the same room.
That's just good audio quality. Aren't we that great?
Yeah. You don't get that in other podcasts, do you?
Not podcast on the left or the right, whatever it's called. But yeah, this week we all met. Well, Andy and Penny have already met in person, but
only once though.
Only once. But the three of us, we've kind of known each other for a long time at this point, but all three of us at the same time never sat in the same room until this week.
And we didn't record anything, so fuck you guys.
No.
Oh, you think that, Miss Bennett?
Did you record us playing Atmosphere? Because that's going to be boring.
No, we definitely didn't. He didn't have his laptop.
No, we didn't. I was just joking.
Not only that, we had friends of the podcast, Kat and Brad, with us as well. It was like a real special... It was like a proper reunion, wasn't it?
Yeah, none of you will ever fucking hear it. So
there was a lot of like menial bollocks anyway. It wasn't worth listening to.
Yeah,
I know. I was there.
Dan got sunburn. We played board games.
We had some burgers.
We went on the 2p machines. Everyone won something except Dan.
All right, I want to fucking rant about the fucking 2p machines for like 5 minutes. All right,
that might be one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
No, fuck that shit. Right, we went to the fucking... All right, we lived near Brighton. People already kind of know already. Went to the Brighton Pier. Nice, really hot day. 2 things. I had a really fucking shit day, by the way, and I'll explain why. We went to Brighton, had a lovely sunny day. Heat waves going on, loads of people. We were wearing masks, everything.
He looks like a drumstick, guys.
Don't ruin the surprise. So, it was very hot. And I forgot to wear sunscreen, but we were only going to be there for a couple hours. I thought, now I'll be fine. By the end of it, I looked like a red lobster. So much so that I was wearing a watch, and when I took the watch off, I saw my
I was genuinely worried
by
the end of it when you left. I was genuinely worried for you.
I thought I was going to die, and I didn't drink any water. I drank 2 cans of Coke Zero.
Yeah, that'll help.
Which I thought would help. Then we went to Brighton Pier, and this lot were like, let's go on the 2p machines. So we went on the 2p machines. I didn't really want to go on the 2p machines. I wanted to go big, because I am a square. So I had £5, right? 5 great British pounds. I think the first machine I went to the over 18s slot machines, lost about £2 on that, won nothing. Then I came back to see these guys winning fucking key rings every fucking second.
So many bits of crappy plastic.
So much of it. And then they're like, what are you up to? I'm like, fucking, I haven't done anything. Then there was a fucking machine right behind them. That's one of those machines where you have to stop when the line gets into the center and it's like moving really quickly.
Yeah, you got to line it all up, haven't you?
Yeah. I got to the very, very last bit where I could have won a major prize, which I think was like a Mario Kart steering wheel. And wouldn't you know, I fucked it.
Well,
and
here's
Andy
the part.
just sat there laughing.
Here's the part you haven't told people. You could have won a minor prize, but you went greedy.
Oh.
You got greedy and you fucked it by like half an inch.
No, fucking wait a minute. Would you like to explain what the minor prize was?
The minor prize was
Yes.
a very lovely looking, I would say,
Cheap.
really quite elegant.
Cheap.
It's a little Toy Story toy
Ball. It was a bouncy
in a
ball.
ball. Yeah, worth it though.
I think
I mean, I
think it
won
was a Toy
2
Story
crappy
4
key
one as
rings and a plastic French bulldog, so I can't
at
really
least you won
say
something.
what. Well, yeah, you should have gone for the minor prize then, shouldn't you?
Well, I think
Yeah,
that
but it's just 2p's.
I think the fact that we went out for breakfast to try and get a breakfast Yorkie
Don't
and
get me
gravy,
started on the breakfast.
and they didn't have it, was like an indicator of how
Fuck
shit
you,
the day was
Toby
going to be. wasn't
Carvery
it?
and I mean, near
No,
Brighton.
stop. They're friends.
No, after that breakfast, they should be put in jail. Driest hash browns I've ever had in my
The
life.
views of Penny do not represent, although they kind of do represent the rest of the Unusual Suspects, but they do kind of because we were all
And friends of the podcast, Brad and Kat, did not enjoy their breakfast either.
I enjoyed it. I had my beans scattered around like it was pepper. You know?
Oh, it was weird. You had a pile of breakfast and it made me feel weird.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
But yeah, we had a nice day.
We did have a
And we
nice
did
day.
that
Had a
stuff.
lovely time.
And yeah, maybe one day we'll record in person and see how different it sounds, if it sounds any different at all,
I think
for people wondering.
I think it would just be us shouting over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that anyway, don't we, because of the delay.
Yeah, but we just cut it together nicely.
That's true.
Or just be quiet and awkward, because we're not in the same room.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's that. Fun.
Well, I also dragged
Good segue.
Dan. I've got a segue. Shh, I'm not very good at them, but I've got one. I
Okay.
also dragged Dan and Brad to the Netflix Fear Street pop-up shop.
It was so good.
So Netflix have done a trilogy of movies, Fear Street 1, 2 and 3, that came
I
out
had the best time.
on 3 respective weekends, and they were
So
having
good.
pop-up shops in London, Newcastle and Brighton on the same weekends. So because they had one in Brighton, I was like, I won't make the trip to London because we can go to the one in Brighton. So we spent half hour?
Oh, an hour.
No, it wasn't over an hour.
It
We were
was.
walking around anyway, going to places. It wasn't half an hour. It wasn't an hour even.
I could feel my skin peeling off me. At that point.
We spent a long time Google mapping where this pop-up shop was supposed to be. And then eventually Brad found a picture of other people that had been the weekend before and found the shop. The shop next door was purple, so we worked out that was the shop. But there was nothing in it. It was empty. Netflix had shut it early. Fuck you, Netflix. But
Did you ever talk about it on the podcast, and did perhaps Netflix hear that you were coming and therefore
Nope.
decided to close up
No.
shop early?
No.
They just knew she was in the area and that she's a big Shudder supporter.
Maybe that was it.
That Shudder affiliation is costing you.
Well, I still watched 2 out of 3 of the Fear Street movies. I will be watching the third one tomorrow.
Did you send a letter of complaint to Netflix?
No, I tweeted them and they ignored me.
No, Penny, we gotta write a letter of complaint and come up with it on the podcast and write it.
You've got time to write a letter, Dan.
Come on, we need to start beef with other podcasts and other
Why?
corporations to do with movies, because that's how you get noticed in the world. Is beef, online beef.
Yeah, but not with Netflix. They'll just shut us down immediately.
They don't own.
They'll buy us out for like 30 quid and that'll be it. We'll be like, oh, well, now we
This
can't do
isn't-
anything.
This isn't hero mode where they want to buy us out and think we're like the main competitors to them. Like, we're not. We're just a lonely podcast.
The chances are they wouldn't even give a shit if we wrote a complaint because,
No, they're Netflix.
let's be honest, 50% of us don't give a shit about the podcast anyway.
Wait, 1.5 of you?
Wow, you keep this in your own podcast. This is going well.
Me and Marcy.
Andy's cat, if you're a new listener.
Anyway, I watched some of the Fear Street movies. They are horror movies, unsurprisingly, based in 3 different years. You know, you said I should go first because I was prepared.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reliable Bennett.
Fear Street Part 1 is set in 1994. Fear Street Part 2 is set in 1978. And Fear Street Part 3 is set in 1666.
69? No. Okay.
And that is the order they are supposed to be watched in. Obviously, that's why they're called 1, 2, and 3. There was a few people on the internet asking if you should watch them in date order. But everyone was like, well, no, because that's why Netflix named them 1, 2, and 3. The running theme of Fear Street is about a small town called Sunnyvale. Shadyside and Sunnyvale. There's two towns, Shadyside and Sunnyvale, and Shadyside is believed to be cursed by a witch.
Yeah, I don't want to put labels on things, but if something is called Shadyside and Sunnyside, where would you rather live? Like, in terms of, you know, which is a nicer location?
I mean, you might not really have a choice. If it helps, possibly not, because you weren't teenage girls. But they're based upon the Fear Street books by R.L. Stein, who used to write the point horror. Did you write Goosebumps as well? I was a bit old for Goosebumps.
You wrote Goosebumps, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So it's based on his books. A couple of kids from Stranger Things. One of the girl that works at the ice cream place in series 3, she's in the first one. The ginger kid, the girl, she's in the second one. Can't remember anybody's name. I can't even...
Andy's in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Andy's in Stranger Things.
He is, yeah.
Let's see.
The sheriff.
Police officer. He's the sheriff.
Oh, you married to Lily Allen as well? That's weird, isn't it?
Christ, no.
It's so odd. Anyway, Sadie Sink, she is in the second one. She's Max in Stranger Things. I'm not looking up the other girl because I can't be bothered. But yeah, I don't really want to say too much. They're pretty good. Interested to watch the third one. I'm trying to work out how much I can say without giving it away. So let's read the IMDb. A circle of teenage friends accidentally encounter the ancient evil responsible for a series of brutal murders that have plagued their town for over 300 years. So it's not groundbreaking. They're both fun horror movies. They're not particularly scary. The gore is pretty good, but I would say they're kind of, I don't want to say like Goosebumps, but...
Is there a particular, again, without giving it away, is there a particular reason why it's set in 3 different timelines? Is that something that comes into play?
It does. This is the only problem I have with it. So the first one, the kids come across the ancient evil that is killing people. Then they talk to someone who has lived through it before, played by Gillian Jacobs from Community. So then the second one is set when she was a kid, so in 1978. So that's the second one. And then it jumps back to, I'm assuming, the origin story of
the witch.
Yeah. So I found it a little strange that they went backwards, because I felt like I knew the end of the second film before I saw it.
Right.
Because you already knew that she'd lived through it.
Right. I see.
Do you think it would have been worth it if they went from the 70s to the 90s, then back to the 1600s?
Possibly. There's not too much to say about it. You know, a big bad kills some kids, and then we do the second one, the big bad kills some kids but in the past. And then I'm assuming the third one, we find out why the big bad kills people. But yeah, they're kind of fun. I would recommend them. I'm looking forward to the third one. But yeah, I'm a little confused with the order so far, but maybe it'll make sense when I've finished it.
Yeah, you might find something in the third one that unlocks a secret chapter. I don't know.
I just felt like, oh, okay, I kind of know where this film is going to end up, the second one. So,
okay.
But yeah, they're all on Netflix. Give them a watch.
Cool. Okay. Andy, I hear you like sports.
Sorry, just say I hear I like sports.
Yes. That's your segue.
Oh. Well, I was just going to say that I watched something else that I was in this week. I'll do my own segnos, thanks, dickhead.
Oh, another film you're in.
Oh, you watched Black Widow?
I went and saw Black Widow. Went to the cinema. I think first time I went to the cinema since 2019.
How empty was it?
I think there were a dozen people there, including us.
For Black Widow?
It was dead.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a Monday night, in fairness.
Okay, fair enough.
But even so, like a dozen people at an IMAX is mental, innit? But yeah, it was quite good. It was a little bit.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was a little bit fine. There was some interesting set pieces, some good characters, but largely it was just an absolutely watchable Marvel film that didn't really have much to write home about, but also wasn't dreadful.
Thingy's in it as well. What's her name? From the wrestling film.
Florence Pugh.
Florence, that's her. Yeah, she's really good in Fighting with My Family. That was the last thing I saw.
Yeah, she was the standout, I think.
Is she Russian in this?
She's Russian, but she sounds Russian. Yeah. Ray Winston is in it. He doesn't sound Russian. He can't quite stick to Russian. He slips into Cockney quite often, and he just sounds like an absolute tit. I also watched, what's that other film called? Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Similar to the first, again quite fun. Nothing groundbreaking, but entertaining. Can't go wrong with Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson and Sam Hayek. So it's got Frank Grillo in it.
I see.
I've also started Ted Lasso as well, which I'm quite enjoying.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I want to see it. I hear it's good.
I'm only like a handful of episodes in, but it's...
What's Ted Lasso, Andy?
It's about an American football coach. He comes to the UK and coaches a Premier League team.
Is that why you tried to make a sports segue?
Yeah.
I assume it was, but I'm not an amateur. I can do my own segues.
He can.
I can't say segues, but I can do my own.
If you want to hear Andy's segues, they're on the Punktastic podcast.
But yeah, it's quite enjoyable. Again, good cast. It's called... I don't know where I'm going with this.
But
it's alright. It's got people in it. It's got people in it.
Who's Ted Lasso?
It's worth watching. Who plays him?
Yep.
Jason Sudeikis.
Sudeikis?
Is that what he's called?
Sudeikis.
It is now.
Have I made that up?
Jason Sudeikis.
Oh, yeah.
I like a Sudeikis.
I don't
It's
know
a
why I
bit
said
like
it like that.
Sudocrem, so it makes sense,
Yeah.
I guess.
Maybe it's because I'm always looking in my medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
Controversial, okay.
Sure, let's go
Hang
for
on,
Jason
so Jason
Sudeikis.
Sudocrem. Sudocrem. I can't even... I think I'm having heat stroke. I need to open the
Are
window.
you guys okay?
Mate,
really
I've had
hot.
to turn the fan off and I'm not...
Oh, we're not going
Do you
back
remember
to what
last
happened.
year?
Yeah, I know.
When it
what
was like
happened last
unbearable.
year.
I've now moved into a warmer part of the house and I'm suffering.
Jason Sudeikis is fit, though. Just putting that out
We
there.
can't all have fucking air conditioning, Dan.
If you want to listen to some absolute not travesty, but absolute inner rage building up inside of us, listen to podcasts from this year, exactly a year ago in July, when we were dying most of the time and very angry, I think, most of the time as well. Mostly at each other, from what I remember.
Yeah.
I saw a thing today that said the heat wave is going to be like this for like 40 days or something till September.
40 days.
You mean the heat wave just happened?
The heat waves are still happening. Sausages?
That's still
I don't
going
know.
on at the moment. Oh, it's really hot, yeah.
40 days.
You know how they always have a thing where it's like, it's going to be the coldest, snowiest winter for 100 years. Well, this time now it's like, it's going to be really fucking hot for a long time. So
Get your barbecue.
I was chatting to a colleague in Phoenix earlier and I was telling them that it was 82 degrees and they were like, oh, that's not that hot. And I was like, it fucking is, when there's no way to cool yourself down.
yeah,
We're not all fucking privileged with air conditioning like you are, mate.
or down.
Or Dan.
Or down.
Look how fucking smug he looks.
Yeah, because I bought it years ago when people were like, oh, why are you buying that? You live in England. Now look at me. Global warming, look what's happened.
I feel better now I've opened the window.
I seem to remember being quite jealous when you bought it and trying to work out if I could spare 200 quid.
Yeah.
And now I'm just considering getting like hotel room air conditioning for a couple of grand to just cool the whole house down in one. Yeah. That's how desperate I've got.
Okay. Well, is that all you wanted to cool off with, Andy?
Jason Sudeikis.
Yes.
Well, that's cool enough for me.
I don't know where you're going with this. Are you just trying to make a reference that you're nice and cool?
Yes, I'm trying to.
Why don't you go put a fucking jumper on your dick?
Shut up. So, I'll be honest. I didn't know I was going to talk about anything this week. But I have something that I want to... You remember a few weeks ago, I said I'm up to something.
Yes.
You're always up to something, though.
I'm up to something, guys. And I'm going to tell you what it is, since I didn't have anything really to say. Besides the fact I watched a couple of things that people wouldn't be interested in. It's fine, don't worry about it. So...
Is there another documentary?
I want...
Was it more gay porn?
To... At the start of this podcast, when I talked about beef...
This is why it's on about beef.
I was alluding to something as well, because I like to put little metaphors in the podcasts before you get to mine, like little teasers. I'm that kind of fucking genius kind of guy.
You've just decided that, have you? You don't normally do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they call me online, I guess.
That's not what Reddit calls you.
No, they don't.
Twat.
Yeah, twat, and then I see username and DJ. So, I'm going to admit something that is the least secretive secret of all time, because I've hinted at it for many times. I am trying to get in contact with Neil Breen.
Yes.
Now, I'm only doing this now because I warn you when it does happen. I did want to be surprised, but I felt like if it was a surprise, it would be like, oh, fuck you, Dan. Why didn't you fucking tell me about this, all right?
Oh my God, have you done it?
I'm not going to say what stage. That's the only secret I'm going to say. But I am contacting him and his people. But I want... this is just a pre-tease to possibly something later. Now, it may be something that you guys don't want to be part of and you don't want to speak to him. And I just record
I'm already feeling depressed.
No. Okay, if that's the case, I will record something with him and then just play it on the podcast and we will react to it and see how that goes, right? But I wanted to know, did you guys have any questions?
Oh my God.
If this does happen, I honestly have no shame and I will go full on, you know. I don't want to make the guy feel bad.
No.
Obviously, if this does happen, I don't want to make him feel bad. I will ask him the stuff that probably most people will ask him, and he'd hopefully be okay with it.
I feel like I've probably only got generic questions.
I've got a few questions.
What would be your questions? Because I will write them down right now.
Why? Just why?
No, come on.
No.
No.
Okay. I have got some genuine questions.
Okay, can I just explain something? New listeners, Neil Breen, go back a couple episodes. He makes incredible films that I love. Andy absolutely hates them.
We've seen his butt. Do you remember that? We've seen his butt. I forgot until just now.
We see his ballsack as well.
We've seen his ball bag as well.
Oh yeah, I put it on the artwork.
Yeah, go watch a film called Fateful Findings.
Go find the artwork of the man naked in a pool.
Yeah,
that's Neil.
Early episodes, you'll find it. Go, Andy.
I would like to know.
Yes.
At what point does he sort of finalise his scripts to decide whether he's put too much in or too little in? Because half of his films either have too much plot or not enough, and they don't make sense.
What do you think his fucking answer to that would be? Be like, no, I think they're absolutely... Do you think he has drafts?
Well, I don't know. I assume so.
I hope he's got one on every laptop. Like, he's got a first draft laptop, a second draft laptop, a third draft, and then the final laptop. It's the final laptop. I don't know where that came from. I'm still too hot.
Sure. Okay.
I want to know where he gets his ideas from.
You want to know where he gets his ideas from? Okay. So you want to know where he gets his ideas from. Andy wants to know...
I want to know his writing process, because I want to fucking critique
What's his writing process?
I really hope he doesn't listen to this.
Okay. Well, that's the whole point, is that I'm secretly putting this in here so that he won't find it, so we can discuss it now. And I'll be like, hi, Neil, I'm from a movie podcast. I'm not going to say what I've already said. I don't want to spoil it because I will reveal everything in a later date. But I'll be like, hi, I'm movie podcast, hoping to do interview. Like, we're really looking forward to your next film.
I am.
He seems to have like a vague love of fantasy to an extent. Like, not necessarily like orcs and fucking wizards, but just things that aren't of...
I've been into that.
Reality. So I'd be
supernatural.
I'd be interested to know what his preferred superpower would be: to either go invisible, like he does in fucking that shit film, or to
Which one did he go invisible in?
collapse the second he's near technology.
I don't know what's his beef with Vegas. Why is he blowing up Vegas?
Yeah.
Is it just, we decided that's just because he lives there, though, isn't it? And that's where he.
I think it's just because he lives there. Yeah, I think he used the ones I watched where he's filming in Vegas, like Double Down and stuff. That's his early films, so I think he might have moved away. But like I think he just used to live in Vegas, and that's where he filmed all the time.
Oh, I've got an incredibly on-brand question.
Oh,
Sure.
For all of us, really.
Sure.
I'd like to know what his catering is that he provides.
That is very on brand.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know about. I'm sure you could probably find it out, but like, does he work with a lot of the same people? Does he just put out like a Facebook message being like, "Hey, I'm looking for a boom man and a catering tuna van," and
Ted, you've seen his Twitter, right?
no, is that all he does?
His Twitter is just advert.
Okay.
It's just I need a. He was asking people to hire for CGI the other day on his Twitter. Like, can you do CGI? I'll pay you or whatever.
Do you know who's also excited to see some of the footage from his new movie, according to Twitter?
Who?
The director for Carousel. I think they've finished filming Carousel 2, I believe. So I'm excited about that one.
Great. So Neil Breen.
Yeah, I've got some other questions if you just want me to reel them at you.
Yeah, go at it. Go.
Because I want to know what his public perception of himself is.
Sure.
Like, does he think that he is a serious artist or an auteur, or does he think that he is not a joke, but like, how does he think people see him?
Okay.
And
Okay.
secondly,
I think I know the answer to that already, but I think I know what he'll say.
oh, he's going to be like, well, I think I'm a fucking genius, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Yeah.
This is why I can't be involved. If you end up talking to him, because I'm gonna have to wear something covering my face.
Okay.
My other question was, has he seen an increase in demand of people wanting to be in his films because they're kind of schlocky budget stuff? So like the first
Like
one,
me wanting to be in Carousel.
yeah, a bit like Birdemic, because they're like a bit wanky low budget. Everyone fucking loves them for what they are.
Yeah.
I want to know if he's had like bigger people wanting to get involved. Like, I don't know, Robert Englund seems to do all sorts of budget shit, as we've seen this week. So that's my question.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not good at this shit. That's why I don't write things.
Don't you interview bands and stuff?
No, she doesn't.
No, I'm a photographer.
I'm a photographer. I don't do
I
that.
interviewed one band, and my lovely friend and friend of the podcast, because she's been on the podcast, Emma, helped me write the questions in the car, and I was really nervous. And then it took me and 2 other people to help me write it up, because I couldn't do it by myself.
Who was that?
Funeral Shakes, R.I.P. Love them.
So anyway, yeah, I will put forward those questions then, Andy. I will gladly do it.
And if anyone else has questions, please tweet them to us. But if they're mean, don't at Neil, because that's not very nice.
So,
or Facebook.
But bearing in mind that this is going to come out in 4 weeks' time, and in theory, we would have hopefully spoken to him by then.
Nah, he's a busy man.
We'll see. I will say, if this comes out, if you're listening,
We'll Ronan Keating it if it comes out. If it's happened before then.
don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll figure out a way. If it comes sooner, before the 4 weeks or whatever, we'll sort something out. But yeah, if you are listening and you go to Facebook or Twitter and just underneath the post of this, of the, where Penny puts the artwork and stuff, episode 59.
10 away from the sexy one, apparently.
10 away from the sexy one edition. Put a question there. Again, as Penny said, if it's not too rude, I will try to include it in somehow, or just maybe rework the words a little bit into something else if it's maybe too short or it needs to be a bit longer. But if you do want to ask Neil something, I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but it could happen, because I honestly, truly have been trying to do this for the past month.
He doesn't do his own merch, does he?
He does.
He does. He doesn't do a lot, though, does he? I feel like all the fake merch is better than his merch.
The fake merch is better, but yeah, he kind of, I think he managed to catch on the train of his memes and stuff a little bit with Breenius. I think he has a Breenius t-shirt and things like that. So, But yeah, I will reveal that when in due course, when it is ready. How do you guys want me to approach it? Like very serious, like I'm acting like the BBC interviewing like fucking.
No, because we don't want to take the piss out of him.
Yeah, just be yourself.
Like, just be like.
Just be convivial and conversational.
What does convivial mean?
Conversational.
That's a new word.
That's why I also said it afterwards to make it easier for you to.
The thing is, if I end up being like too, you know, question timey with it, you know, very, very straightforward, very like internally I'm laughing. So it's going to come out at some point.
He must know what people, not what they
I don't know. I don't know.
But
that's
like,
the whole point, is I want to find out.
I remember hearing on, there was a podcast I listened to with Edgar Wright, and he was saying that he ended up at a premiere or a screening of a Neil Breen film, and Neil turned up, sat at the back, and didn't really understand why people were laughing at the film.
Oh.
So like I think this is what upsets me about it.
This is going to be hard.
Yeah, this is where this is all going to turn to shit, because if he's that serious...
Yeah, and I think that's
Imagine he walks out of the interview,
like
the Zoom
Butt Boy.
interview.
That's where Butt Boy fell apart, because it was too serious.
But I think this has always been my problem, is that like Dan loves the Breen films because he finds them hilarious and laughs the whole way through, and I don't, because I'm like, this is some dude who's poured his heart and soul into this film. It hasn't landed, but he's trying.
It's like the guy from The Room, no matter how serious he was when he made it, like he's owned it now. He's like, oh, okay, this is kitschy and silly and it's a cult thing and people think it's ridiculous. Yeah. So he's leaned into it. But if Neil hasn't, maybe you will have to be super serious.
Yeah. So if Neil is like super dry,
he will be, and
witty and funny in a slightly unconventional way, instead of just being totally serious.
No, he'll be dry, but he'll be serious, like a dry, serious kind of like.
Oh, now I'm slightly panicking about this.
But like, if he's almost playing a character, like if he's making these films with a sense of humour, and I don't think he is.
I don't think he is.
Then it might be okay. But it's the fact that they're so serious, but everyone laughs at them. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit for him.
Well, why don't you ask him?
And I think that's why it winds me up so much.
Why don't you ask him now? Ladies and gentlemen, joining us live right now is Neil Breen. Not joking. So, yeah, I don't know. It could end up being very heartfelt, very interesting conversation. It could be, or it could end up being he takes it the wrong way completely and I fuck it up and he leaves early. I don't know.
No.
I almost feel like you're not the right person to interview him.
I'll do my best. I've done interviews.
No, I know.
I can do them. You know.
The worrying part is that, and this will be a little bit...
There isn't anyone better out of the three of us.
Well...
Because you'll get cross.
Yeah, but also I can hold that in. That's the thing. Like, out of the three of us, I think I would probably be the most level to talk to him about it, but also true. I would have to hold back.
Andy, I want you to be on this call, please. I don't know what would happen, but I kind of want... We don't know. That's the whole point of it. It's like, we don't know what will happen, so be on it.
Yeah.
I can be on it.
You need to be my backup guy in case it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Fine.
I'm excited.
I really hope he lets us record like the whole Zoom thing.
We'll see. Let's cross that bridge when we get to it though.
Oh, I was just like, I fucking if he thinks they're great, it's a bit like a conversation we had off air earlier about thinking you take great photos enough to keep taking them, or that. So if he thinks they're great, and if he has fun, if he has fun making them, and that's what he, now I feel bad because especially I saw a fucking thing today, and it's like, not all your hobbies need to be monetized. I mean, try telling my brain that, but sing out of key and paint even if it's not great, and make a thing even though it's not. It doesn't have to be good. If you like doing it, then fucking do it.
I totally agree.
And I feel like a lot of people have that sentiment, but now we're talking about Neil. We're like, well, shit, why are you doing it? So I feel a bit hypocritical now.
No, I'm not going to be like that.
No. I feel hypocritical now we're talking about it.
Well, and I think that's why I can relate to it, because I do a lot of writing pen. And I'm always like, well, this is fucking pointless because it's not that good. So I just fucking churn it out.
It is good.
But I enjoyed doing it at the time. And I think Neil is probably the same way. It doesn't matter if it brings other people joy as long as it does for him.
And it does bring us joy. Well, some of us. But in a different way. It's a shame if he can't see it from that angle, but hopefully.
Hey, we don't know. He might have a good time. He might stay for extra bits because he's having a good fun all time.
He might be
he
the fourth
leave.
member.
We don't know.
Imagine that.
You might watch the film out of the hat.
I'm going to try get him to do a soundbite and go like, you're listening to The Unusual Suspects.
Oh my god, if we can get Neil Breen, do you think we can get Steve from Carousel?
Almost certainly. I think it'd be easy to get.
I want more guests on here because you two are boring me. So
I'm totally fine with that.
We had a load of guests. We had like 6.
yeah, there are friends. You know. Let's get some people like who do movies. There's a movie podcast.
Not all of them.
Yeah, we hated one of them. I'm not going to tell you which one.
But anyway.
It was Dan.
It was Dan.
Lally. Regular host Dan.
Not other Dan.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yes.
Happy birthday to other Dan. Today is his birthday at the day of recording.
From
Happy
the
birthday, other Dan.
past, future. This is from the...
Yeah.
I never know how this works, you know that. But happy birthday, other Dan.
Happy birthday, other Dan.
Now I need to tell him
Not
in
the
real
best
life.
Dan in the world, but you're still a fairly good Dan.
Who's the best Dan in the world?
I mean...
Oh, I know. Andy's is Daniel Radcliffe. It's not you. He fucking
That
loves
is
Daniel
true.
Radcliffe.
I do love Daniel
no, I was
Radcliffe.
going to say Daniel Craig.
No. Who's my favourite Dan?
No.
I'm quite partial to Daniel P. Carter. I don't know if he's my favourite Dan, but he's quite high
Another
up there.
music reference that some people
Yeah,
will
Daddy
get.
P. Carter.
Does the Radio 1 rock show, used to be in A. Daddy P. Carter. I mean, Daniel P. Carter.
Let's move on before Penny loses it. Our film out of the hat this week,
Oh.
chosen by the wonderful Pen, is 2001 Maniacs, which is a 2005 film, which is a remake of a what? 1964 film?
Yeah.
Was that called 2001 Maniacs as well?
It was called 2000 Maniacs.
2000
they added an
Maniacs.
extra one.
This is already confusing.
There's also a sequel to this film.
Is there?
Really?
Yeah. I'm not fucking watching it.
No.
What's it? 3001?
2001 Maniacs.
2002.
2001 Maniacs. Field of Screams.
Oh, yeah.
Phil
With
Screams.
Bill I'm going to watch it. Is that bad? Because this was bad. With Bill Moseley in it. I love Bill Moseley.
I don't know who that is.
He is Chop Top from that movie. Chainsaw Massacre. No. Devil's Rejects. Which one's
Good,
Chop Top
okay.
in?
Well,
Anyway.
Yeah, cool.
Feel
Thanks,
free.
man.
My brain's melting. Sorry, everyone.
I can tell really well.
Can I
This is a weird film.
apologise?
Yes. Jesus.
Or can
Yep.
I just...
I think you need to.
Yeah. So I probably saw this. I was trying to work it out earlier. For our younger listeners, Netflix used to be in the post. It used to be called Love Film, and you used to get them in the post. They would post you your DVDs, and I feel like it was back then. For a while, I was unemployed, and I would be getting Love Film discs quite often. To the point as well where I was slightly worried somebody would see what I was watching, because I ended up watching a lot of weird shit.
I wasn't sure where that was going.
Yeah. So I probably haven't seen this for maybe 15 years, 10 to 15 years. It's bad, guys. And I don't mean like good bad. I mean like offensive bad. I didn't know it was a remake. We were discussing off air that it was a remake and it was possibly okay to do this in the 60s. We decided it was not okay to do this in 2005. So I'm really sorry that this was the only one I put in to annoy you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone.
It's not us you've got to apologise to, it's the listeners.
Yeah,
They've
don't
got to
watch-
listen to us
yeah.
talk bollocks about it.
Yeah, this film is... What was one of the films we were like, oh, Andy watched a film and it was full of slurs and things, and when we watch 90s films and they're a bit like, oh, that's gay and stuff, this was worse than that.
Yeah.
Within
Within the context of...
context, yeah.
Yeah.
Within the context of the film, though,
Yeah.
you know, it's sort of not necessarily like, oh yeah, that's fine. It makes more sense because of what it is when we go into it.
I think now we know it's a remake, it's kind of slightly more acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not acceptable, but it
Careful.
makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense for the time, at the time. Not in 2021, definitely not.
Nice.
So,
No.
You know, it's always good when, for the first time ever after 59 episodes or so, that a film doesn't have a Wikipedia plot section for this film, and it's the only film I could ever find that doesn't have one. It literally just gives you the start and the ending, and that was it. So I'm going to make very quick notes, or have made very quick notes, but we will go through it.
Well, I also have just looked at my first note that just says credits. The boys are going to hate this, lol.
I didn't know what to kind of expect, especially after the credits when it had photos of, well, it ended up being the American Civil War and stuff. I really didn't know what it was. I didn't read too much into it. I saw the poster and was like, okay, what is this? Some weird fucking thing? I don't know. But knowing Penn, it makes so much sense that she likes, or she picked this film at least. Let's put it that way, yeah. Not saying you liked it.
It makes sense.
But
it makes sense that I'd seen it.
It has nearly every combination of Penn in this film.
To be fair,
it does really.
The second note just says, "Oh my god, they're playing 4-Star Mary in the car." I fucking love that band. They were Dingoes Ate My Baby from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for people that don't know.
People won't know.
So at the beginning, when I'd forgotten how bad this film was, I was like, "Oh my god, no wonder I love this film."
Anyway, we start this film with a teacher. Played by
Peter Stormare.
Yeah,
my
That's
favourite.
all Andy's talked
Oh,
about.
I love Peter Stormare.
He's fantastic. He's in Until Dawn. The video game
he is,
as well.
yes.
He is.
He's in Bad Boys 2. He's in one of the John Wicks.
He is, yeah. He's fantastic.
He's in Swedish Dicks.
He's a teacher, and he's explaining the American Civil War to a bunch of his students. But this is where we meet kind of our main characters. Not really sure who the main characters are in this, but like there's a vast variety of them.
Anderson's the main one.
Anderson, would you say? So okay, so we got Anderson, Corey, and the one that dies first that I can't remember, Nelson.
Nelson,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Nelson.
I think I got to maybe an hour and 10 minutes in before I had learned any of their names.
Yeah, I had no idea.
They're never introduced, and they never
I
say
only
it.
knew Anderson's name.
Anderson goes, he says it to the girl.
Anderson Lee.
Yeah, once, but I don't remember anyone else's name. That I literally completely had to look it up afterwards.
Was his name Anderson Lee?
Yeah, because they made
I
a
thought
thing
it was
about...
Lee Anderson.
No. Because they make a thing, when he introduces himself to Freddy Krueger, he's like, Anderson Lee, and he's like, oh, are you from the South? Because General Lee was a Southern Civil War dude, I think. So he's like, a good Southern name, and he's like, yeah, I was born and raised in Carolina. Or yeah, so that's the only reason I remember.
I see
What his name was.
So our teacher explained American Civil War to students. We meet our three heroes, kind of. And they decide to put some party photos up as he's explaining stuff from American Civil War. Everyone's laughing. They all have a good time. They get a telling off from the teacher. And he's like, you should learn, apply yourself, da-da-da-da-da-da. Good thing it's spring break time.
Spring break!
Yay, spring break. There's already Penny Phil.
Feelings. You don't know how excited I was to fucking hear that song.
Oh,
So
I have
dumb.
an inkling.
The teacher says that more people died in the American Civil War than the two world wars together. And I'm like, surely they just mean American soldiers.
Well, if Civil War was just all in America.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it makes sense that more American soldiers died in the Civil War than
Because they were
a
killing each
fucking
other.
war they couldn't be asked to join until the last second and then claim the fucking glory
Well,
of.
yeah.
Sorry to any American
And the
listeners.
World War, how many people were in the World War? Weren't they like a sixth? There was a lot more countries than just one country
Yeah,
fighting
I
itself.
was going to say hundreds, but that's excessive. There were dozens.
You know, there's good writing when they're like, Americans killed each other, and that was a lot. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense why.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in spring break. Who cares about class? Anderson, Corey, and Nelson don't. So they're going on their spring break trip, and they bump into a guy with an armadillo.
Eli Roth.
Played by Eli Roth.
Who
I think it's because he was a producer on it, maybe.
I believe so,
Okay.
yeah.
whose armadillo got hit by their car, and now there's blood all over the car. I don't know why. Any of the dog as well. And he's sort of just looking to catch a ride for them. And then they drive off when he's like, oh, I'm just going to get my bag, bros. What's up, bro? And then he decides to throw his armadillo at another car when they drive away. That's his character arc done. There we go.
So weird.
Yep, no more Eli.
Don't worry. We get to a petrol station or a garage, and the boys meets our other main characters, let's put it that way. There's Ricky.
Tricky.
Ricky is the gay one. Well, Ricky is the bisexual one.
Yeah, Kat. And the blonde girl, I have no idea her name.
Joey.
I don't know her name either.
Is it Joey?
Was that her name?
Joey.
She's like the other main character and we don't know her name.
Because
she's Joey.
When you go on IMDb, it says Marla Malcolm as Joey, as Marla Leigh Malcolm.
Yeah, that's her real name. Like, you know, sometimes they have to have, they go as different names because of the Screen Actors Guild and shit.
Okay, fair enough. So, the tone of the film was really set at this point, I think. And this is where, like, insane dubbing comes in. Like, the dubbing in this film is ridiculous. It's like nearly every fucking... Especially the blonde girl, I think her voice just gets dubbed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Didn't you guys notice it? It was so obvious. Like, there's a lot of dubbing where a lot of people's voices
Not really.
are found. Really?
I'll be honest, I spent less time looking at the screen than I would have... than I should have.
Okay, so you didn't watch...
Yeah, me too, probably.
Oh, okay.
I watched it. No, I just said that because you got annoyed when I didn't watch it last time. I watched it. I just didn't notice.
I did watch it. I was just making notes because I knew there was no Wikipedia page. So
I just found there was so much like dubbing and weird things. The audio just a bit... That's just me being me, but either way.
Also, speaking of the tone as well, at one point, because I don't know when this note comes in, but it's near the beginning, I think they're talking about getting to Daytona where they'll be drinking beers and boffing chicks in no time. Boffin is a new one in that context.
Don't even know what that means.
For me.
I swear that was in Harry Potter, right? A boffin. Right?
That's if you say, oh, he's such a boffin, that means he's smart. If he's boffing a chick,
yeah, but
I assume it means something different.
What I mean, there was a creature called a boffin, right? In Harry Potter.
Oh, was there? I don't know.
Okay.
Hold the line, caller.
No, don't look it up, for fuck's sake.
I don't know anything about... I'd never heard of it.
The boys meet the two girls and I think Anderson...
And Ricky.
Ricky. And Anderson... There's this weird sexual first content... It just is... It's so fucking... It sets the scene for the entire fucking film. The girls are kind of like, what are you up to, boys? And what are you... Oh, you're going to spring break and... It's a bit too much. I'll be honest. It
is a bit too much. Also, she says to Anderson Lee, like,
one of them,
oh, give me a number, and he's like, have you got a pen and paper? And she's like, no, just write it on my stomach. How the fuck is she going to be able to read that?
Yeah.
How's she going to read that? What's she going to do? Stand in front of a fucking mirror?
Well, she goes, well, he's like, what's your name? And she's like, I'll tell you if I call you. And it's like, well, she probably knows she can't read it. That's why she's not going to call
Well,
you.
she never fucking calls because we didn't learn her name to the end, so...
Yeah, there you go.
We must have known it before that.
No.
So there's this weird first sexual contact. I guess they're young, they're hip, they're horny. Let's put it that way. Mechanic keeps saying... pushing up daisies by midnight. There's a mechanic at the garage who's kind of looking weird at three boys, and he keeps saying, pushing up daisies by midnight, pushing up daisies by midnight. And to the point where...
That kid playing the fucking banjo was great though, wasn't he? He was really good. I don't think it was him playing it, but...
He wasn't bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Best gig I've been to.
I feel like every time it zoomed out where it was the kid, I'm like, I don't think you're playing that at all. And it's zooming in on someone better, but...
So...
Irrelevant.
So much so the mechanic keeps saying all this stuff that one of the boys has a dream where the mechanic beats the living shit out of them. Where they wake up and they're like, we're still on a road. It's spring break, bro. Let's keep driving. They find a shortcut, apparently, which this immediately made me think of Nothing But Trouble. That film where they take the wrong trip into a ghost town where it's weird people in it, like, immediately. This is the film I wanted Nothing But Trouble to be, though. I wanted it to be gruesome and shit. But Nothing But Trouble.
I was like, did you?
But Nothing But Trouble was PG and shit and boring.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah. Yeah. Cock noses.
Yes, cock noses. Gammon babies and all sorts.
Gammon babies!
So they take a shortcut and they end up in Pleasant Valley, which is kind of like this, if to them, is like a reenactment of like the Southern Way, you know? And they meet Mayor Buckman.
That's Freddy Krueger.
Who is a man with an eye patch. And he's got the Confederate flag on his his eye and stuff and everything. He's like, I can't do his voice, but he's like, welcome.
Why is he so high pitched?
Town or something. I don't
Is he
even
a
know.
fucking
He sounds
Teletubby?
nothing like that.
He's got that creepy,
He
like,
sounds-
one-eyed Jack kind of
No, he's just like, howdy, y'all. Like in his normal Robert Englund voice,
Yeah.
but he's being southern.
Yeah.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to
bit.
Pleasant Town.
Oh, we should maybe not do the accents.
Hey,
Yeah, no, don't
no,
do
just
this.
bring it alive. Bring the movie alive, you know. Let's not bring this movie alive.
No.
So it's kind of
The
like,
fucking script couldn't.
I guess the boys think that it's like, oh, we stumbled upon like I don't understand why they end up going there and they think, oh yay, spring break is like, I guess because the girls is the first thing they see and they're like, oh, there's lots of women here, so we should stay for spring break. That's the inkling
Well-
I got.
I think it was like, because I'm assuming spring break is a couple of weeks. I'm thinking like Easter.
I think so.
I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks, something like
Yeah.
that. But I think that's why they stay to start with, and then the other girls like Kat and Joey turn up. But there's a bunch of innuendos. So there is a girl in this film, and I know her name. Her name was Peaches, and she wears Daisy Dukes and a bra the entire movie.
Yeah.
And she says, if I supply the peaches, can you supply the cream?
God,
It's that sort of movie, kids. So I think that's... And I feel like... I didn't work out how many days they were there. I feel like they only...
3 days or something?
It was 3,
Two
I
or
think.
3?
Maybe 2.
I think it was just 2 nights.
Yeah, so I feel like they wouldn't have stayed there the whole time, but they're getting fed for nothing. There's fit women around, and those other like Kat and Joey are around, so I guess that's why they would stay, but
Yeah.
never do that.
Never stay in a town you'd never heard of, and some people are like, yeah, just stay for free.
Well, certainly not when you turn up and everyone gets out of their house to fucking welcome
Yeah.
you. That's weird.
Yeah,
That's
it's
immediately
creepy.
culty kind of weirdness thing going on, like, oh, howdy, welcome. Oh, nah, fuck that shit.
They wish it was a cult.
Anyway, so everyone else starts turning up. So the other 2 girls, the bisexual dude, I keep forgetting people's names.
Ricky.
And then we also get a black dude and a China woman, as they put it.
Oh yeah, they call her China woman.
Malcolm and Leah.
I didn't even think she looked that Asian.
No, not really, but either way. So
Also, sorry, we need to point out that the reason they all show up is because there is a diversion
yes,
sign.
Yeah.
And they all followed it, and then they ended up in Pleasant Valley.
so they all end up staying.
You know, in
pretty
case you're
much.
interested in the plot.
Yeah, sure.
Because they fucking weren't.
And now, so after this bit, we kind of get settled into knowing the situation, and the next lot is kind of like a bit madness. So I'll go through a list of things I saw. There's a guy in the town that fucks sheep.
Yeah.
That is... Oh, I remembered his name then.
He's like, "Get back here, girl." So
The sheep's... Weirdly, the sheep's name is Jezebel, and she's listed in the credits as playing herself. That's what I
bless.
remember.
we get introduced to Granny Boone, who is,
She's quite famous. Lynn Shay.
I think she's been in a couple of things.
Oh, she's the lady in the Insidious movies, and she's the tanned lady in Something About Mary.
Ah, okay. And she also introduces the boys to, I call them the 2 giggly girls who like to touch each other all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know their names, but the 2 giggly girls, basically. All that kind of stuff. We also meet
I feel like they just call them the lesbians.
the lesbians. Yeah, I guess they do,
I think
don't
that's what they call them at some point.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they do.
the kind of picture I got from the start of the film, I was just like, okay, this seems to be like, this town is very sexualized for especially for the boys, like, being here. It's like very
Yeah.
something weird's going on. Like, there's something off. There's something just slightly weird about the whole thing. We also, but then for the ladies, Harper, the smooth southern
I
accent.
love him. Giuseppe Andrews, who's in Cabin Fever and Never Been Kissed. I love him.
He
He was very smooth.
he turns up and he's there to smooth over the ladies, especially Cat.
Yep.
So, and there's also a high-pitched guy who chases a cat called
Hucklebilly!
Hucklebilly.
All right, now I feel like I love this movie more than
Yeah,
I
you do.
originally.
You-
I love
you truly do.
Hucklebilly is my favourite character. Apart from Hucklebilly likes to play kill the kitty, which cat murder is not.
Yeah.
The one, I don't need it. I don't need to see it. I don't need implied animal murder. But other than that, Hucklebilly is my favourite.
You probably picked the wrong film for violence then, I gotta be honest, but either way.
No, just animal violence.
Well, just he's like he was going to lynch a cat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just before that,
nice.
when they enter the hotel as well, Malcolm, the black dude, is like offered watermelon, which he obviously turns down.
Yeah.
And then he asks the guy who brings their bags up, where do the black guys hang out? Or where do the black people hang out? And the guy says, normally from that tree over yonder. So you had that, then you had the cat stuff, and the dude fucking the pig within the space of 3 minutes, and I was like ready to fucking turn it off.
Stereotype, or well, you know, some of it stereotype, some of it implying what the Southerners were like back in the day.
I've just found out that Hucklebilly's in the sequel, so I might actually watch it.
Great.
Just for
That's the
scientific
only
purposes.
reason why you should watch it.
Well, and Bill Moseley, and just it was 2010, so I want to see if it's still racist.
Okay, probably.
Almost fucking certainly.
We get a scene which I kind of like. I kind of like the way they film certain things like this, where you get where it leads up to the whole Hucklebilly, where you find out he's about to lynch a cat, but at the same time, the scene with Harper is playing, where he's getting a bit kinky with Cat, and then but tying her arms up, and then you realize at the same time that Hucklebilly's going to hang the cat, that she is about to be pulled apart by horses. Literally, not the band, but pulled apart by horses on every
Fucking
limb.
Dan always talking about music.
It's a good one though.
I like them.
As if she didn't hear the horses, though.
Yeah, but the fact that she keeps referring to herself as Pussycat makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, Miss Pussy.
Yeah.
Imagine fucking Red Dead Redemption is just like, well, Miss Pussy.
Yeah, just unnecessary.
Yeah.
I've just got Matt Mercer in my head with his fucking southern voice going.
Please don't sully his good name with this
He'd
bullshit.
be fantastic. So we get our first. We know what they're doing now, kind of half of what they're trying to do. You'll hear about what they're trying to do a little bit more later. They're trying to kill these people. They end up killing the girl by literally pulling her limbs off one by one until she looks like.
That's pretty good.
What does she look like? What's the best way to put it?
A big
Torso.
sack of
Just a big
potatoes.
torso. Yeah, no legs, no arms, no nothing. Heart's still there and everything, but blood everywhere, and it's gruesome. It's pretty gruesome. I'll be honest. Violence-wise, didn't expect it to be that gruesome.
I expected it to be worse, to be honest.
Did you?
I thought it was way tamer than I was expecting.
Some bits I think were a little bit. Sometimes a bit comical and stuff like that, a little bit. But
Yeah, but I was expecting like hatchet levels of gore.
violence. Yeah,
You know, but it wasn't that at all. It was like wank, just crap.
All right, calm down. So that happens, and they all go to dinner where they eat her, everyone, because we see a tattoo that she had on her backside.
This really annoyed me because they all sit around and have dinner and they pull the big silver thing off and it's a turkey.
Yeah.
And it looks like a turkey.
It does.
I feel like it was clearly a turkey. Like it
Yes.
wasn't a plate of meat. It was a fully turkeyed turkey. And then
You're right, Pen.
and then one of them and then fully assembled turkey?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Either one of those will work.
And
yes.
then one of them's got a big piece of meat, like a big square bit
Yes.
that's too big to fit in your mouth, really, and it's got a tattoo
Unicorn
on it.
tattoo,
And
isn't
he
it?
obviously doesn't
Yeah.
and he obviously doesn't see it and he eats it. But I was just like, where did that come from? Did they have the turkey and a plate of meat? And you would have
Details.
seen it.
It's just details, you know. You don't need to
Well,
know.
also,
Yeah.
why did no one go, should we not wait for Cat?
one of my other notes is just like, why do they not care where their friends are all the
How
time?
I not
like, when
noticed?
I was with you guys for 2 days and I cared where you were
That
every
is the
second.
thing. Like the main problem I have with this film is that no one seems to give a shit until like it's the last 3 or 4 of them, and they're like, "Wait a minute, where is everyone?" kind of thing,
Yeah.
and then they,
Especially
it's
as
too
they
late.
know Kat went off with Giuseppe.
Yeah, and he
what's his
came
name in
back.
this Harper.
Even though he did say, "Oh yeah," later down the film he said she ran off with someone else. You'd be like, "Who?
Or
Where
something.
the fuck is she?" kind of thing. You know, at least ask.
Oh no, he says she goes off with Nelson after Nelson disappears.
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
Nelson fucking nicked her from me and they've gone off together. That's
But
why they're
where's
both not here.
Nelson?
And everyone's like, he's with Kat.
We're about to get to that bit.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. It's constantly just like, oh, whatever. You know, we're in a town that we've never been before, and the only people we know, we don't know where they are. So, like, you know, it's a bit weird.
Take better care of your friends, guys.
So, we get the happy, upbeat country sex song bit, which is what I put, where it's a
The sex montage.
it's a sex montage with a happy country song. It's just everyone.
I don't remember the
Everyone's
song.
having sex.
I think
And
it's just like an acoustic version of The South is Gonna Rise.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
but it's
I
a
think it
country.
is.
Yeah, that's why I just.
But yeah, it's a banjo, isn't it?
There's a couple of old men that play banjos throughout this, and they follow people around and sing songs at them. And one of them is just "The South is gonna rise again," and it's really catchy and really awkward.
Yeah, you kind of get an inkling slowly, but surely weirdly what these people are trying to do, or like the revenge is like coming for these other people, for these out-of-towners essentially, who come into their town. It's weird. It's a weird film. Let's carry on.
I've written a note I don't understand. I've written, geez, that camera angle. No idea what that's about.
Is it to do with my next note? We get some
Possibly.
milk maiden with her. She's got some big jugs of milk.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And she turns up in Nelson's room
She does indeed.
or outside, and she's like, there's a good old camera angle there. Big old.
I don't think that was it. I don't know.
No? Okay.
He's the only one not fucking anyone else. Like everyone else is. Like
Yeah.
Ricky has hooked up with one of the
Ricky's gone off with
locals,
the-
and he said the only difference between a frat boy and a gay boy is a 6-pack of beer. And I'm like, what? What does that mean?
It means that if you give a frat boy a 6-pack of beer, he'll get a bit experimental. And
He can turn. Yeah.
He can turn. So
We've all been there,
So
Anna.
Anderson's talking to Joey. Anderson and Joey are getting together, and then Ricky goes off with Freddy Krueger's son,
Yes.
and then Malcolm and
Leah.
I don't want to call her China woman, Leah,
Yeah.
are off together, and then Corey's off with the Giggly Girls.
Again.
And this is the camera angle because she comes up to Nelson's room and he's naked, and you possibly there's almost penis.
Oh, yeah.
The camera angle is so low.
Yes,
There
yes.
is pubic hair,
Yeah.
and I was surprised.
Can we just take a second to appreciate that Malcolm and Leah were fencing with riding crops? Because that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're kinky as well, aren't they?
There you go. Anyway.
I like that they I was gonna say I like that they took their riding crops with them, but they didn't. Did you? Yeah, get rid of this.
How did they get them on the back of a motorbike?
No, they probably took them from the barn. From where they were.
So, where was that? Milk Maiden, she ends up going to Nelson's room, and she's got a big old tube. She's like,
Special moonshines.
This is weird, isn't
special moon shine. Why don't you stick it down your throat? Are you a man or are you a boy? I'm a boy. I'm a man. Sorry.
it? I don't think you should be drinking that shit laying down.
It's, whatever floats your
He's
boat.
kind of laying down. She's on top of it. She's fucking him, isn't she?
Nah, there's no penetration.
There's no penetration, but there is
There's just some mild grinding.
some mild grinding. Yeah. So she ends up just sticking it down his throat, and guess what? Turns out to be acid, and his whole kind of inside torso area
That was good.
melts through the bed, essentially.
The thing is, he's drinking that himself because you can see him sucking it down. So, like,
Yeah.
why didn't he stop the second
doesn't-
he was like, oh, this is acid, I better not drink this?
It was slow acting acid. that
Unless it
didn't
was pumping into
burn
him.
until.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was just
No, it was
like
just a
a tube in a jar, and he's actively drinking it. And then he's complaining whilst he's drinking it because it's starting to burn him, and yet he's still drinking
And he
it.
doesn't.
I'm like, just
Is that
stop, you
because he
fucking
thinks it's-
idiot! What are you doing?
It's a movie.
Because it's weird moonshine. Doesn't that shit burn? Probably.
I mean, you would notice if it was burning, or if it was a little bit of heartburn, or if it was, oh my god, my heart is actually burning.
Now he's a hacker, isn't he?
Now he's a hacker.
Yeah, acid burn.
Oh, fuck off. Anyway, just don't make a reference to hackers, please. Jesus Christ.
Bad enough as it is.
Always.
It's bad enough, yeah, jeez. I'm skipping ahead here. The next day, girls have a bath with the other girls, and they're all washing them in the bathtub. And boys...
And the guitar guys are just sitting there in the background. The old men.
Yeah.
And the boys play horse. Unfortunately, what they don't know is the things they're throwing the horseshoes at are their friends that died earlier, their heads. Which, again...
Yeah, they think they're minks.
You think you would notice, because...
You would.
Yeah.
It's the people...
You would.
The people who are killing these people are not doing a very good job of hiding the fact that they've killed them. Like, putting in the food, putting their heads on things...
Yeah.
Acid burning through the floor. I would have thought that would have made like some
They
sort
were on
of...
the top floor as well, so they would have seen it.
They would have seen it. Like there's a lot of times where you think, I think they just want them to know or find out, like the thrill of it.
Yeah, it's not very subtle.
No, it's a bit like Batman villains, where they always tell Batman where they're going to be and what they're going to do.
Yeah.
All the time.
But no one ever fucking notices.
Exactly.
Because he's not the world's greatest detective. He's just a twat in a cape, apparently.
Sure. Two giggly girls touch each other again on a picnic while Corey watches. He's not allowed to watch. He's not allowed to touch. He does get his dick out for one bit, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? Shouldn't be touching.
And this is when we find out that they're cousins, because
And the cousins.
more southern racism?
Because
I don't know.
racism?
Yeah.
No, stereotype. But either way.
Thank you.
The South are still pissed because they're still talking about the South will rise again. Constantly.
South is gonna rise again. So after they've bathed Joey and Leah, they get them dressed up, but Joey ditches them for Anderson, so they go and have a little hoedown with Leah, and it gets weird.
Yeah, with Granny Boone kind of
Granny Boone is singing a song about how, oh, look
Swing
at
your
her.
partners round them.
Look at her pretty little eyes, and she's got perky tits. And then there's just a crowd formed, and then she's like,
Little breasts. Da, da, da.
you're gonna suffer forever, and you bitch. And then a fucking bell lands on her head.
Drop a bell on her. But while she's doing the hoedown, don't the people start coming out of their houses to watch,
They're
right?
staring at them, yeah.
Again,
they're just
it's
staring.
like the second there's a whole crowd of people watching one person do something, that's fucking weird and time to leave.
And you're above a giant bell.
Yeah. Well, and then they do that, and then Ricky turns up, so Ricky sees them kill her,
Yeah.
and he runs off into the woods.
But he's caught by his lover,
Yes.
Yep.
shall we?
This is the worst death for me. I don't like this one.
Yeah, this is the worst. This out of all of them, I would say if there's one that you definitely wouldn't want, it's being skewered through the arsehole out of the mouth.
And why do they do it through the asshole?
Because big gay, bisexual, funny things,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah?
Because that's what he did to Rob England's son,
Yeah, I guess so.
Mayor England.
He was a bit like, he fucking loved it when he was at he was mad at them before they killed him, and he was like, he fucking loved it.
Anyone else find it a bit weird that Granny Boone like sucks the end of the spike once it come out of his mouth?
Well, that's what led me to they're now cannibals as well.
Oh, so it was that bit and not the fact that you saw them eating them
Not the
earlier.
Eating people.
I thought when they were eating, I felt it weird that they were serving it. I thought they were just like doing a thing where they're
Just to
serving,
them.
like Hansel and Gretel. They were just trying to get them fattened up or something for some reason. But then,
Also, those two girls couldn't have skewered him from butt to mouth, like in one go,
straight go,
like,
but either-
No.
unless they were super strange. But
one of those films.
details.
But yeah, it gets even more twistier as it goes on. But yeah, now they're cannibals. Now they're just going to eat them. So they're Southerners who don't like people from out of
Civil
town.
War cannibals.
Civil War cannibals, and they're killing teenagers for reasons. Northerners, the North, for reasons. They then end up going to a bar, whoever's left alive, and they're like, where is everyone? They start realizing.
Yeah, now they're like, there's only 4 of them, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it? It must be Anderson, Corey.
Let me
What
find
happens to Corey?
We'll get there shortly.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
I don't know. I just don't remember. So it's Anderson,
Corey, the blonde chick,
Joey,
and what's his face?
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
the black guy.
Yes, Malcolm. So they end up going to a bar and they end up talking, and they're like, something weird's
Where are all our friends?
something weird's going on, guys. I think something a bit strange about this town and stuff. To which everyone in the bar kind of stops and goes, including Mayor Buckman. They're like, you're not thinking about leaving, are you? You don't want to. You sure you don't want to leave? Mm-hmm.
Someone told Peaches, I think Joey told Peaches they were going to leave.
Oh, that's a fucking clever idea, wasn't it?
And Peaches obviously tells on them.
Fucking Peaches.
They try to kind of leave and in the end kind of get split up again, which you should never do. Malcolm ends up finding the saddest girl in the world who's squishing a fucking rat. Her face
God,
was so sad. I was like, oh, the poor girl. And then
was the rat.
That was horrible.
Her face was just so like
foreshadowing.
Like that.
Oh yeah, it was. It wasn't it?
I don't know what it is.
Also, this bit really annoyed me because they're like, okay, we'll go back to the hotel and we'll see you all at dinner. And then they're like, we'll see you all in an hour.
Yeah.
And they can't but they all split up. But part of me would be like, right, well, tell them we're all going for dinner. Then if we're all going to creep around, I'd just fucking run off into the woods and not stop running. Like, I'd be like, right, we've all got to go. Everyone just fucking run and leave. Like, if they were creeping around the town for quite a while without kind of being seen, I would have crept off and kept creeping, personally.
Anderson ends up finding, he sees Ricky kind of through a window, and he's like,
oh yeah,
Ricky, it goes through. He doesn't see his dead body, but he's basically in the butcher shop, essentially.
Yeah.
Where two guys are kind of cutting up the bodies of people. But he kind of just moves out of there going, oh yeah, no, I was just looking around, don't worry. And like, he plays it cool. He's like, there is something going on here, but he plays it cool. Malcolm gets annoyed by the two guys with the guitar, and he's like, shut the fuck up.
Singing
Seriously,
stop
singing that song.
I can't.
He's like, I'm trying to find, what's her name?
Leah,
sorry, not me. And they say something about finding your bitch, and they point their guitars up.
Oh, the boy wants his bitch. Nothing sadder than a boy without his bitch.
It's something like that.
There you go.
So weird.
Another song, and you see not entirely Leah, but like someone that kind of looks like her running away, limping a little bit, kind of weirdly, and he's like, okay. Follows her, of course.
He's like, hey, come back here. Doesn't think it's weird that she's ignoring him.
No.
And she's like,
and giggling in a voice that isn't hers.
Yeah, sorry.
Nice one, Pen. Meanwhile, the other girl, the blonde girl, I forgot her name again, finds
Joey.
a bunch of jars with different dates from 1922 to 1908, and there's different body parts in it, and now we're starting to realize, oh shit, they're definitely cannibals, we get it. They're eating people, they like to store people, all that kind of stuff. And then finally, which again is probably tied for first place if you're a man, for most horrible way to go, is when Corey ends up finding Peaches.
Yeah.
And Peaches
didn't understand this.
Looks like she's going to go down. And he asks her, are you putting a gum shield on? And she's like, not exactly. She's got razor sharp teeth now.
It's weird, isn't it? No.
It is, yeah.
And knowing what we know now seems unnecessary.
I mean, she did eat his dick, so they can make that joke.
Yeah.
But again, there seems to be no fight in any of them. Like, I know she's got metal teeth, but she's just like a small Jaws from Bond. Just fucking twat her.
I think once she's bitten your dick off, that's all you're thinking about, though, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure. Why not? Malcolm, unfortunately, falls into a trap with Leah, and it's not Leah, of course. And he gets...
What?
He gets put on... What can I describe?
It's a mill. It's like a flour mill.
It's a mill, right?
It's like a cotton press, I think, isn't it?
Or maybe it's a cotton press.
Of course it is.
Because they make references to cotton in front of him,
yeah,
right?
That's true.
Oh, yeah, of course it is. I forgot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he gets put on that, and he gets squished to fuck so much that his eyeballs pop out of his head.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Which, yeah.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't on screen for long enough. It was like 2 frames. You didn't get to see it properly.
Can't see it
And
all.
he's disappointed.
Well, I'm a bit
Disappointed. Anderson finds a bike, and then he finds Hillbilly Jim, whatever his name is. The Hillbilly. Huckabilly. I don't know, there's too many fucking names to remember. Huckabilly, and he has the keys of a bike.
It's Malcolm's bike.
Malcolm's bike. Hey, why don't we go? Let's go away. And it turns out that's another trap. Gets hit in the face with a slingshot, like Bart Simpson. And that's the only reference I can make to a slingshot. Then he wakes up, tied to a table, during the big feast, this big barbecue that they've been kind of building up to, and then now they're at it, and they're actually on the table, him and the other girl, I keep forgetting her name.
Joey.
Joey. So they
We should just title this episode Joey so that he remembers.
Yeah.
they're about to be eaten pretty much by everyone, and we get a metal version of the
Oh my
the
god,
South
the
Will
metal
Rise
remix
Again.
is so good. The South will rise. The South will rise. It was good.
I laughed at that. This is a bit where I kind of laughed. Well, okay, this is getting silly now.
Oh, now we're right near the end.
Yeah, I know, but like, I get it. Like, there is a lot more like silliness to come, obviously, but like, it is silly with the metal version, different version coming in and stuff. So they offer him a little proposition. They say, if you kill the whore, aka Joey, got it, we'll let you live. Was that the deal?
Yeah, because he's a good southern boy.
Yeah.
So it's a good son boy, so you can stay.
Because they
have
hate
the
them all
feast.
because they're northern, but
Yes.
he isn't. So they're like, come back into the fold.
This is after the Mayor England reveals that everyone else is dead. Like, he lifts
Oh yeah.
dinner cloches to reveal heads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By
Anyone
like,
wants
look.
some dark meat, and it's Malcolm.
Yeah.
The problem with Chinese food is that you're always
Yeah.
hungry afterwards, and then he
Oh,
eats a bit of
yeah.
Leo with chopsticks. I'm like, what the fuck is this film? It's 2005.
Yeah, but you know, you got to remember it is 2005. like it's a different
This
time.
is what I think I'm going to watch to the next one for next week.
Sure.
Because
not?
it's 2010, so they should have learned something.
Sure, why not? So, yeah, they offer a proposition to him. If he kills Joey, he can become one of us. One of us.
Well,
The
they
greater good.
just let him go, right? They'll just...
Yeah, they said they'll let him go.
He doesn't. He obviously pretends like he's going to, and he ends up throwing a knife at another person, and ends up trying to run away. In the slowest runaway scene I've ever seen in my life, where everyone's face is zoomed in, and I got really confused to what was happening.
Well,
Really fucking confused by that
I
whole
felt
thing.
like they were getting... I've written, like, why are they all in his face, but they're not killing him. But
Yeah.
if you notice, they get...
So strange.
They get kind of zombie looking. The longer the film goes on and the less they've eaten,
Yeah.
they start to look kind of pale and dark circles around the eyes and a bit more desperate and zombie-ish.
Yeah,
Do you know who else I saw in that scene?
the guy from Hatchet.
Kane
Kane
Hodder!
Hodder.
Yeah, he's in there. Yeah,
I've literally just put Kane Hodder. Where did he come from? Like, he was obviously just walking past the set that day and they were like, yeah, Kane, just come here.
Yeah.
So we get a final scene where everything is kind of on fire. There's like everyone's trying to chase the two of them.
Oh, he
and-
kicks over
and
the
then
pot, doesn't he? So there's like a
kicks over
wall
the
of...
pot.
Is that why they're all kind of... They can't get to him? Is he on one side of the fire and they're on the other? Is that why?
No, I think.
No.
Well, I think they're all on the same side. They just us not trying to
They're
get
on
him.
the same side. We get a scene where Anderson ends up taking off the eye patch of
Mayor England.
Mayor Buckman.
Mayor Freddy.
And we see a weird, dark, cavernous hole in his eye with things coming out of it.
Maggots.
Let's put it that way.
Maggots.
Maggots and
There are
things
only
and shit.
noodles,
And that's
my
that's now made it even more weirder because we're like, okay, so the zombies. Okay, is that making sense? Sure, why not? And Anderson ends up getting a tuning fork, I think it was, and pointing it at his eye and going, "I'll take the other one out." And he's like, "No."
Is that what it was? A tuning fork?
I think so. It
Yeah, 'cause
rang.
it dinged. It dinged. Yeah, it dinged for a long time.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And he's
Why
like,
the
no,
fuck
no, no.
is there a tuning fork at a barbecue though?
He says like,
You'd think they'd be like Andy and have a triangle and be like, ding, 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 dinner.
he says, "Shit, there's a giant spider on my fucking wall right now."
That's not what he says. That's not what he says at all.
Ooh, that scared the living shit. It's right in front of me. Sorry, I'll
Do you
Try
need
and
to
finish
take a
this.
break to deal with it?
give me just
Yeah,
1 second.
no.
1 second. It's fucking huge.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
Well,
to.
now I don't
Yeah.
know about you, Pen, but I'm now checking my ceiling.
Yeah.
Yep, having had the windows open. But do you know what my fear is here? Is that as he's going to get it, it's going to fall on the camera.
Oh, as if you're brave enough to get it. Oh, I don't know what I'd do. Nobody's home.
Surely that's Sherlock's job.
Oh fuck! It's fast.
Oh, you're so brave.
Out the window.
I couldn't go anywhere near it if it was that big.
Dan's the manliest man I know.
I know, right? I'm
He got
shook.
rid of a spider without shrieking.
I know, I'm shook right now. And surprised. I'm slightly impressed. I don't know, I'm feeling all these feelings.
I'm aroused.
Yeah,
so
a little bit.
Shut the fuck up, you two. Jesus Christ.
It's all true. I could not go anywhere near it if it was that big. Unless it was just tiny in your...
It's just, he's not going to bite me. It's just a fucking spider. He just
but
wants
they
to go
move.
outside.
No.
Yeah, because they're a fucking living creature. Of course they will. Where was I?
South, we're gonna rise again.
So, yeah. Tuning fork to the eye. And he basically says, no, don't do it. An eye for an eye. An eye for an eye. Don't do it, please. We'll let you go.
She's really weird. What pussy? As if he's like, no, we've got to let him go because she's going to put my eye out.
I don't want my other eye. It's really important for some reason.
I mean, he would be blind without it, so it's quite important.
Yeah, it's fair.
They let Anderson and Joey go only if they can do, for some reason, an Evel Knievel stunt over the fire with the music playing in a weird way. And I was like, what is going on at this point? It's so strange.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's just so weird. So they escape. They end up going to the police station or sheriff's office, a different one. And they end up saying there's a town in Pleasant Valley, and they're like, there's people there that are eating people. And the sheriff is like, really? Let me take a trip there. They take a trip with the sheriff, and they find gravestones everywhere. I also noticed a little thing, that's probably why it's called 2001.
Population.
Is the population?
Yeah,
The population is 2001. The sheriff is like, no one's been here for over 150 years or something. All these people died.
Civil War ghosts.
Civil War. They end up being ghosts, not zombies.
They're like internet ghosts, but old. Woo!
So they're fucking ghost
Dial-up
cannibal
ghosts.
Southerners who... Maniacs who all pretend to still be Southerner who... Like, it's just so many different layers, like, blended into one.
It's an eye for an eye, isn't it? They need to eat 2001 people to make up for the fact that their town was torched by Northerners in the Civil War, and 2001 of them died, so they need to have killed or eaten 2001 Northerners to make up for it.
Last couple of scenes here where we get Joey and Anson, where they see the gravestone where Buckman is with his eye patch, even has a whole grave.
He's got a bust. Yeah.
And then all you hear is the echo of an eye for an eye in the background. They are like, okay, well, screw this. Let's just carry on our spring break trip. And they go on the bike.
I think they're going to go home. I don't think they're going to Daytona Beach anymore.
Sure, why not?
No.
They go on the bike, and then all of a sudden, which I thought was... They cleverly did this. I thought was barbed wire on the floor, on the ground, and the tires went out. It's not. It was barbed wire across... pretty much the top where their head is on the road. So the bike stops suddenly, and I immediately thought, oh, the tires are gone out, someone put something. But no, their fucking heads slowly slop off of Joey and Anderson, and there, of course, for some fucking reason, waiting for them to come along is Huckleberry Finn, whatever his name is.
And he collects
Huckleberry.
He collects the heads.
And then disappears on the road
'Cause he's a ghost.
because he's a ghost and he can magically come back because movies. And that is 2001 Maniacs.
I was kind of bummed out that they didn't get away, which is weird because normally I'm like, yeah, kill all the stupid kids. But I was a little bit, maybe not her, but also because he's Southern. I don't know, but I was a little bit bummed out that they didn't get away for once. I'm not sure
going to
why.
start with Andy. Andy, what did you think of this film?
Why are you starting with me?
I want to spice it up a bit.
Oh, I thought it was fucking terrible. Do you want any more context, or?
Well, no, just give a bit.
I think now that I know it's a remake,
Yeah.
I can be a little bit more forgiving of it because I assume it's just trying to stick to like as close as possible. I think the original is quite graphic,
Right.
but this was not. It tried to be like a weird shit slasher film that also borrowed from other things. I mean, it was nonsensical. The characters were all unlikable. It didn't make much sense. I thought it was wank. Like, it genuinely upset me at points. I was really angry at it. As you can tell.
Yeah, definitely. In this heat as well. Doesn't help.
Yeah. I I am struggling to think of any redeeming qualities to it, so I'm going to give it a 2.
A 2.
Wow. Is that the lowest ranked Penny film? Probably.
I just don't know what the target audience for this film is.
Me, apart from the racism and the homophobia.
But is it for Southerners? So there's like a relatability? Is it for the Northerners who is it's just propagating more bullshit about why they should be afraid of their neighbours in the South? I don't understand.
I don't know if it thought about it
what
that
the
hard.
audience is. It's just, yeah, but it should have. It should have, because it just doesn't make any sense. It's just spouting more bollocks into the voice. Oh, it's 2. It's a 2. I'm going to have to get up and go for a quick walk. I can feel my pulse racing.
Penny, what did you think of the film on the opposite
So I
end?
apologised. But I didn't hate it. I feel like I've changed my tune a little bit. I can see why I enjoyed it the first time round.
Yeah.
Like Andy said, the fact that it's a remake does now make me feel a little less guilty. It makes it a little bit easier to swallow, but the stereotypes and the casual racism and homophobia were unnecessary. Maybe, but then it makes sense, because I don't want to say that because it sounds awful, but I guess that was the point, that like if you went to a rural southern town and they'd be like, oh, we don't like blacks, and oh, we don't like gays.
Yes. It's okay to say, it's okay. I know people think, oh, you can't say things like that in films now because it's 2021. And yeah, you can't say things like that, really, to be honest. But in the context
of what they were doing,
in the context of what these people are and what they represent, that's what people were. It's like someone saying like, oh, you can't talk about Nazi Germany because it was so bad and stuff. But people need to learn from that, what people used to be.
Once you find out they're Civil War ghosts, not just rural Southerners, you're like, oh, they are from insert date of Civil War here. Then that's what people were like, I guess. I liked the gore. I liked Tuckerbilly.
Of course you did.
I thought it was kind of fun and really dumb. This is definitely... I feel like... I don't want to say like it's the kind of 90s horror movie that I like, because it was a bit older than that, but it was definitely a 90s horror movie done 10 years too late kind of deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it... I couldn't decide whether to give it a normal average or a penny average, so I'm going to give it in the middle and give it a 6.
You are fucking ridiculous.
Dan.
I didn't hate it.
Oh, fuck you.
Yes, I've done it. I've fucking done it.
No. Wait.
He's gone. He's gone.
Andy, come back. Come back. Let me...
It's a dumb horror film.
Look, it's a fucking dumb horror film. It's super stupid. But Penny alluded to something towards the end where she was like talking about how they all died in the end and no one got away. And I like this film because it made me think that there was no hope for a lot of them. Like, they literally are dead. And with a lot of horror films, it's always been like that person, like one person dramatically gets away. It's always the final girl or whatever and stuff like that. This film, genuinely, at the same time, I was trying to figure out why they were doing this, and it kept it like kind of twisty all the way to the end. But at the same time, it was interesting enough, gory kind of scenes and stuff. It wasn't amazing or stuff. I've seen better, but like it was still like creatively done certain gory
and there was
things.
enough. You knew enough about the characters, but you didn't need to know any more because you were just going to kill them. And that's all you need from them. It's
a very easy film to get into and kind of understand. That, like, I think the problem with it is just I didn't like any character. Like, there was no one to kind of root for. And I feel a lot of these horror films, sometimes that Penny brings, there's sometimes not someone I really, truly root for. I mean, it's just, you either don't know them well enough or they don't give you a reason to. So it was just a film about watching people die. And
but it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, it was half fucking American Pie, half Hatchet, and it was neither a good version of either.
And a ghost film at the end.
Yeah,
as well.
it doesn't know what it wants to be, and it's
a
shit.
history film. Come on, guys. It's got a 5.3 on IMDb.
I kind of like the randomness of it all a little bit. That's why I kind of like a little bit. Like I'm not giving this like a 7 or 6. Like it's nowhere near that. I'm not going to give it like as high as that, but it's definitely like out of most of. And I know I'm critical of sometimes the films Penny brings, especially horror ones. I didn't hate it. So
I thought you were going to hate me for this.
No, I had a little bit of enjoyment out of it. A little bit, not a lot. So I'm very much near enough the middle. So I'll probably give it a 4.
I'll take it. It was fucking dumb.
Kind of just below average, I would say. It is dumb. It's stupid.
It's dumb.
But it's not dumb in a fun way. It's just
it's
dumb.
watchable. It's very watchable.
It's boring as fuck.
Yeah, and the reason why it was boring is because the way you watched it was not very full on attention.
No, I don't even think it was, because I was watching it and taking notes in the same way that I would do everything else. I just had a curfew.
It was only the end he had to pause, wasn't it?
Sure.
Nothing happened up until it.
What do you mean nothing happened? Loads of people got murdered.
Yeah. But, people died.
But not in a particularly exciting or fun way. It's the same shit we've seen hundreds of times before and not done as well.
Yeah, but this film is 15, 16 years old now.
The film doesn't know what you've seen.
Civil War ghosts don't know.
It thinks you haven't seen any at all. Civil War Ghosts was a new one for me.
If I could do a southern accent, I'd be a Civil War ghost right now, but I can't.
I think it's not. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's not great either. It's just it's very.
If you were like watch
below
this
average.
or watch Ravers,
So,
I'd watch this again any day of the week. Ravers was boring. I know you didn't watch it, but
there you
go. Please, sir, I beg of you, not my good eye.
I'll do it. I swear I'll do it. You'll be whistling Dixie out of your eye socket unless you let us go.
Oh, will we let you go? I swear it! Word of honor!
Word of honor?
Southerner to southerner, gentleman to gentleman. Word of honor.
Anyway, film out of the hat. So we take a film. We'll watch it in 2 weeks. I've had a lot of films.
Imagine if it's another shitty horror film. Andy might.
Imagine if it's another Penny film.
Christ!
None of them are to piss you off now. Not right now, anyway.
Let's find out.
That's going to make it worse, because when they do piss me off, I'm going to actually be annoyed.
Let's find out, shall we? It's a... Hold the line caller. It's in between Penny and Andy, I don't know.
Ooh.
It's like... It's where your two lists meet, so I don't know who it is. One of you can tell me. So in 2 weeks' time, we shall be watching a film I actually wanted to watch because I know a lot of people have seen it, and shall be interesting. 1996's
Sounds like me.
Crash.
No, I fucking hate this movie.
Is a Crash is a strange lore about auto collision provoking it as it does with human fascination with death and the tendency.
I hate this movie. It's not my movie.
Eroticize danger. Jesus Christ. So yeah, we're getting kinky with cars in 2 weeks. Yay!
This was my movie, obviously.
It was Andy's. Okay.
I just remember watching it and thinking it was dumb.
And why Crash?
Sorry.
So I remember watching a bit of it when I was younger and thinking this is fucking weird, but it's transgressive fiction, which I quite like.
Yeah.
Like, that's my vibe when I read and write, so it's very much in my wheelhouse. I don't think I've seen it the whole way through, but I think it will definitely be an interesting conversation as to morality and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I haven't seen the full thing.
It's not going to be a fun watch.
It's not fun.
It's not going to be fun at all.
James Spader is in it, and Rosanna Arquette, but
like conversation-wise, it might be interesting.
Yeah, it's one I haven't fully seen, so I'm definitely... it was one that I know everyone talked about, because I remember when it was in cinemas when I was a young wee boy, people were talking about Crash and how weird it was.
It's 96, so I was 11. So you were children.
6, 7, yeah. I do remember, I have a good memory.
I didn't watch it when I was 11. I'm just going to put that out there.
I remember it being number 1 in the box office in my local cinema and people going, what fucking weird film that was.
I really hope you're not confusing it with the other Crash from 2006.
Was that also a weird one?
That won a shit ton of Oscars, but no one really understands why, because it was just Oscar bait.
2004 with Don Cheadle and Sandra Bullock.
Was it a weird one? Because I remember it's the weird crash that everyone...
I think it's all about race.
Los Angeles citizens with vastly separate lives colliding and interweaving stories of race, loss, and redemption.
No, it was the 96 one.
The weird sexy car one.
It was to do with sex and cars. I knew it was this one, so yeah.
I feel like somebody fingers a wound in it. I'm not excited for this, guys.
Okay, well, we'll find out in 2 weeks.
I'm going to start thinking of puns now, because we're going to need some good ones to lighten the mood.
Ask Kat, you can steal them from her as per...
Hey, whoa.
Right, that's not fine.
We agreed that we both think of the same joke at the same time. It's just that I'm quicker to get them out.
Penny.
The South is gonna rise... Was that not what you wanted me to do?
Get out.
You can find us. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Unusual Suspects Pod, and on Twitter at Unusual Podspect. I'm at Penny_photopit.
Dan talks a lot.
At Joyces21.
Back next week, people. We'll have fun and games. All the things you like.
All the things you like. All the things you like. I need to.
Penny, you need to get out of the fucking room. Make yourself a nice cold brew. She's fucking singing Tattoo. What the fuck is it all come to?
My brain's melting.
In fairness, there's a lot of rain in that video, and that's what we all need.
Oh, that is true. Like, legit pouring down in that fucking video. Wish I was there.
Can't wait for some rain in 40 days.
That's all I remember from that video. Nothing else.
Nothing else but short skirts and you know, schoolgirl uniform kind of thing.
Ladies.
No, just the rain. Just the rain. And maybe a prison.
I don't remember.
And on that note, we're going to say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Andy likes prisons. Bye.